Hey, this is MJ, call sign KW3KW, and welcome to another episode of Ham Radio Made Simple. Today I'm going to be going over 7 settings within Fldigi that most operators don't know but wish they did. This is episode number 47, and for you who are trying to support the channel, thank you for hitting the like, the subscribe, and posting comments, because that's the magic sauce with YouTube in order for it to push it out more. My goal is not to make money. I don't make much off of this thing at all. My goal is to help find others who, quote, stumble across the station and help them to get set up with these digital modes and other aspects of ham radio. So again, thank you for all your support. Today I'm going to go over how to enlarge the waterfall, making the bottom waterfall horizontally get larger so it's easier to see and use. A passband search, which is really cool. So, for example, if I'm at an offset of 900 on Contestia 4250 and someone's on Olivia, let's say a 4250, and they're at 1200 in their offset on the waterfall, if we both have our RxID on, I can actually lock over to their offset so I don't miss messages. Now, you don't want to be doing this with a net. But this is a great way when you're trying to say, I'm trying to reach somebody or find somebody out there. You really want to know how to set up the passband search. I'll get into the video function where at the beginning of the transmission, you can have your call sign or the op mode being broadcasted in the waterfall. PSA spotter settings. If you're looking at, I'm at version 4.2.07, and now there's up by the RxTX. Up at the top right of Fldigi is something called Spot. I'm going to talk about how to use that, and it's going to be important in the last setting that I'll go over today. I'll get into time delay macro, and why would you want to use something like that? Well, Scott, KG5 VPF is an hour difference than me. I'm in Raleigh, he's in Mississippi. And so usually when I get in the showers, he's getting on, but I now could set up the macro so that when I'm in the shower, messages can be fired off to him automatically, and I don't have to be at my desk doing it. I'm also going to get into the op mode macros. If, like for me, there's probably about 4 or 5 I use consistently, and I'm going to show you how you can set it up so that you just have to hit one button instead of going up to op mode, trying to drag down, find the right one. Half the time my mouse cursor goes over, the pointer goes over, misses it, and I have to start over again. Very fast and simple way to do op mode macros, and it's really easy. I'm going to get into how to set up the S meter and use your power meter within Fldigi. And if you stay to the end, there's a bonus one I think is probably the most fun of all of these. So make sure you stay to the end. Yeah, it's a hook, but what the heck? Why not? All of these are going to be, the instructions are going to be in a handout. So if you want the setup instructions, ask for the 7 Fldigi settings and email me at kw3kw@mail.com. So just say, hey, MJ, I want the 7 Fldigi settings handout, and I'll send those to you. I have handouts for most of my videos. So the first one we're going to do is waterfall enlarging. And that's increasing the height of the waterfall in here. Instead of being real short, you can increase this and make this larger. So let me show you how to do that. To change the size of the waterfall, and I'm talking about right in here to make this bigger, you need to go to Configure Dialog. This is typically where all our settings are. Under the waterfall that you see here, we're going to go to the FFT processing, and the number, I have mine at 170 right in here. So this is the waterfall height in pixels. So once you make your changes, and I did 170, you can try that. And you can hit save, and then you can hit close. And you should see the next time you close and reopen Fldigi, it'll make the change. It won't make it automatically until you close and reopen the program. Number 2 is the passband search. What it's going to do is it's going to search the entire waterfall and be able to lock on to someone else's offset. And it can also lock into a different op mode. So let's give an example here. I'm set at 900, and Steve, KE2KN, is set at, his offset is 2000. He has RxID, I have RxID, but I also have passband on. So he's sending out on Olivia 4250, and I can then automatically switch to Olivia 4250, and my offset's going to go right over to 2000 where he's at, and I can get and decode his message. And vice versa would be the same thing. If I'm at 900 and Steve's at 2000, when I send the message and he has the RxID and passband on, he'll be able to switch over to what I'm doing. Even so, both the op mode and the offsets can switch when you set this up. So let's get into how you set it up and give a quick demo of it. So let's go ahead and do the settings for passband. And I'm going to do configure dialog. Under IDs, right in here, under RSID, right over here, there's a check mark for passband. Just make sure that's checked. Hit the save, the close. And now when I go up to RxID, I right mouse click. I'm going to make sure that's highlighted. So again, right mouse click. I'm going to turn it on, and when it's on, it's red. And to turn it off, I right mouse click and uncheck it, and it goes back. So what you want to do is, like if you're doing nets, you don't want this activated, the passband. But when you're just looking around, I'm trying to grab somebody in here and I'm not at their offset, I want to be able to automatically capture what their offset is. I just right mouse click, check on passband, and off you go. So let me get a hold of Steve KE2KN, and let's see if we can show you how this works. Number 2 is passband, and if you look up here, I have this check, so passband has to be checked in the top right, and it's red. It's ready to go. Note that I'm on Olivia 4250 with an offset of 2000 that you see down here. Steve, go ahead and send a message. As Steve sends a message to me, KE2KN, you're going to see I'm going to go from Olivia 4250 to Contestia 4250, and I should switch from 900. Yeah, now he's at 900. You can see his message coming in. So here's the message, the RSID brought us over, and a test message 1 from Steve, KE2KN. And it's as simple as that. Number 3 is the video function. And this allows you to pre-transmit your call sign or the op mode as the message is going out. This is kind of fun if people are looking for your call sign that's out there, but the op mode is the more practical one, because if you think about it, a lot of us, when we're looking at FLDigi and we're on a particular frequency, we don't know if it's PPSK, MFSK, Thor, Olivia, Contestia, what is it, and what op mode speed. Now, if we all had the RxID on, that helps a lot, but since some people aren't doing it, if you put this out there, people can look and say, oh, someone's transmitting at this offset at MFSK 32, then it's easier and more likely you can get a QSO going with them. So let me show you how to set that up and how it works. Okay, let's go and show the video feature. So I go configure dialog, IDs, video, and this is the way you do your call sign. Transmit mode ID. No, we'll do the transmit video text. We'll do that first. Since that's there, I'll turn that one off. And so transmit video text, which is my call sign, small font, mode width limit, and number is 7. Hit the save, hit the close, and I'm at Contestia 4500. So what I'll do is just put a short message in. And what I'll do is hit the transmit. And if you notice in the waterfall, you should say KW3, KW is the beginning of the transmission. So I'll go ahead and stop that. And now let's go back to configure dialog. Now we're going to do transmit mode ID and turn off the transmit video text. So this way it should show the Contestia 4500. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save, close. Again, transmit mode ID and turn this one off. And save, close. Again, the message that you have in here. And I'm going to do transmit. And now you should see Contestia 4500. Abbreviated, Contestia 4500. So that's how the video works, to be able to put either your call sign or the op mode in. Number 4 is PSK Spotter, which shoots over to PSK Reporter for mapping and charting who's picking up your signals, etc. It's a great tool, especially when you're trying to find out how your rig setup is working. I prefer to use it, but not all the time. So if I want to turn it off, I could, in the older versions, I'd have to go into config dialog, and I have to go under miscellaneous, PSK reporter, and do all the settings. Now I can just simply turn it on and off when I want to use it by just clicking on here. So it clicks on and I click it off, but you have to set it up. So let me show you how to do it, how to initialize it, and so you can start using this feature. So let's jump in. To get PSK spotter reporter working, again, configure dialog. Under miscellaneous, PSK reporter, you want the first, the third, and the fifth checked. You want to make sure you initialize, and this turns green. And the host is listed as in here. Hit the save, hit the close, and what you're going to get, spotter should now be showing up in here. And now you can simply turn spotter on or spotter off. And that's going to come into play when we do the bonus selection in here. But anyhow, how to turn spotter on and off without having to go through the config. Now it's all set up. If I don't want spotter being tracking me, I turn it off and I turn it on. So simple as that. Number 5, time and delay macro. I can now able to put in my macros a specific time and date. It could be either local or Zulu time, depending on how you want to set that up. So when my messages go out that I'm sending out in a macro format is automatically time-stamped so that they can know when that was sent. The second one is I can actually schedule it to be able to go at a later time. So example, KE2KN, and I want this to go off like 30 minutes from now because I have to step away from my shack. And this will allow it to be able to be sent without me having to be there, other than the fact that we're both on and our rigs are on. And obviously we can connect. So let's get into how I set that up and how you can use this. So let me show you how to do the macro for putting a timestamp on. And this is the macro right in here. And again, it's in my handout. But what I'm doing is a message, please respond if received, Zulu time, and I'll make sure it automatically adds my call sign and stops transmission. Add time message is what I did. I hit apply, close, and if I launch this, it's going to say, please respond if received, and it's going to timestamp it, which happens to be the correct time. So this is doing Zulu time, and you can see it come across. And off that one goes. And so I'll clear the screen so it doesn't get confusing. Next, I'm going to do the scheduled macro, and every time I go to the end and I hit a return, I do it twice, and I can do now rows, so it's a little cleaner to read on the screen versus having one single line. So I'm scheduling this local time, 2040, and it's a scheduled message macro is the message, and this is the macro in here too, Zulu time with my call sign, very similar to it. But I text you what, since it's already 40, I'm going to go 41. I'm going to go back here and go 41. So that should be within maybe 30 seconds or so. I put by the name, I hit apply, I do the close. Now I'm going to go ahead and click this on, and it's going to schedule it for here in less than a minute. See the schedule icon up at the top right? And so this is what's going to happen here shortly. It's automatically watching here, it'll start. Now, if I closed down the app and turned it back on, and I still had time before the message was supposed to go off. Let's say it was going to be in an hour, and I shut my system down for 30 minutes and turned it back on. What would happen is this function would still work. However, the schedule indicator is not going to show if you close the session. So just be aware, you close the session, it still works. It went off, and it's now doing the macro that we put in here, and off it goes, as you can see. And so simply, this is a great way of being able to do a message. And all I will do is just go into the macro, for example, once it's done, and go in here and just change this part and put the new time. Leave everything else the same. And I can get a message to Scott or Steve and go 30 minutes, an hour later when I know they'll be on. And especially with my mind, I probably won't remember to do it. So it's a great tool that you can use, and it's not too hard. So I'm going to go ahead and close this. And let's move on to the next area. Number 6, op mode macros. This is a fast way to load and to change op modes quickly. And you can see here by just clicking this here that I set up the macro, I can go to Contestia 4250, MFSK 32, BPSK 125, and I have this one set up. I can go Olivia 4250 at a different frequency. So it knows to go at 770, for example, 7.070. So let me show you how you can set this up, and it allows you then to change quickly to either the frequency and the op mode by simply one click of the button. Number 6, using macros to do a quick reset to the proper op mode. So I'm a Contestia 4250 right in here, and easily, instead of having to go up to op mode, Contestia 4250 and want to switch it, it's for me, I just have to hit it. I'll do MFSK 32. If you notice, I switched to MFSK 32. I can go back to Contestia 250. How is that done? It's really simple. All you have to do is in here in the select tag, here's all the different ones that you can do. Let's see, MFSK, Domino, Contestia. Once it's used, it's going to be pulled from the list, but I could do Contestia 4500, for example. And so if this wasn't here, I'll just delete that. I would just choose 8250, for example, and hit the arrow, and then I would change this to 8250. But I don't want to do that because I like the 4250. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that and go back to the 4250 right here. Make sure it matches up in there. Hit apply. Oops, I have to go over here. So there you go. You can see that. Name it, apply, and close. Now I can actually add over here, I want to change the frequency at the same time. Actually, someone's sending me a message on JS8, so we'll let that go through. But here what you can see is by adding QSY colon and the frequency, when I change to Olivia 4250, I can also now switch the frequency back to 7.7070. And so this is the macro for the frequency right up in here. And this is the macro, again, I pulled from the list over here. Forget the modem, the op mode, Olivia 4250. Put your title in there, hit apply, close. Now watch what happens. I'm at 7092, Contestia 4250. I am now going to put Olivia 4250, and by doing that, now I'm at 7070, and I'm at Olivia 4250. Now, why would you want to do this? If you belong to multiple groups and they have their own settings that they want to do, they'll switch, maybe to Contestia, to Olivia, to, 80 meters versus 40 meters. You can set up fast macros like this that can automatically switch you over in a matter of one click versus configure op mode and then changing all of this over here. So this will show you that this is really good if you're using different frequencies, different op modes, and you want to change it fast and easy. This is the macro you want to use. So let's get back to one more before we hit the bonus. Number 7, using the S meter and power meter GUI interface that's built right into Fldigi. Simply, all you have to do is click these arrows right in here. It's going to pull up the S meter. When you're receiving and when you're transmitting, you get the power out meter. I'll show you how to also put the new colors into it, so it makes it simple. So when I see the green in my mind, I can look at it and say, okay, I'm in the S meter, and when I see the red, I know it's power out. Just a simple little thing like this, but it's something that helps me a lot when I'm trying to use this without always having to go look over at the rig. So let me show you how to set this up. Number 7, how to get the S meter, which you see here. Remember, you can click the arrow. Typically, this is what you see, upper sideband data, bandwidth is 3000. If I click the reverse arrow, now I can get my S meter and my power meter. To make this so it's easier to read, what I did is I went into configure dialog, under colors and fonts, under frequency display meters. You can notice I changed my frequency meter. I'll just pull this down a little bit. I think it's easier for me to grab my eye if I see it with the blue and the white contrast. And again, that's just by going in here, the background color and the digital color, which is white and this is blue. But for the S meter, what you're going to want to do is, here's the meter color, for example, and this is green. So I chose green, I hit OK. And so for my power meter, again, meter color, and I chose red and I hit OK. So again, hit the save, you can hit the close, and you can see this. Now if I transmit, let me just put again message in real quick and go ahead and transmit. Now you can see my meter power, which is happening right in here. So it's a great way of looking at it, and I don't have to look at my rig. And there it goes. And then back to the S meter. So again, great way of using it, a great way to identify. I love using the green and the red. It tells me real easily what I'm looking at. Bonus, ping pong. This is a way to ping someone else's Fldigi to see if it's opened or not and get a response back. So I'm going to send a ping, and if they are on and they have it set up also, then it will be a reply back to me as far as a pong, which saying, yep, I'm on. You can use other words besides ping and pong that's on there. But this is only going to work if you both have it set up. And so this is not going to be used necessarily randomly, but more with people in a group or people that you know. If you set it up, then it's nice to know. So for example, like with Steve, KE2KN, he's away from his rig. Does he have it even open? So I can get a quick hit on his system and say, yep, his system is up and running, and I can then drop some messages into his screen. So let me show you how it's set up and how it works. Now here's the bonus one. What we're going to be able to do now is if you and I, for example, have the same setup, I can tell whether or not you have Fldigi open, even though you may not be at your desk, but I can still send you a message. So how do you do that? You go under Configure Notifications, a little bit different this time, Notifications. What you want to do is come down to this drop down and you want to put Custom Text Search. So what you're going to want to put in is Custom Text Search. Make sure it's enabled. You want to ignore duplicates. You want to go band, mode, and 300 on here on the time. Next, in the append to text, if you open this up bigger, you can actually see it's going to be transmit. Again, hit the return space, hit it twice. Pong and DE, and it's going to be your call sign. Basically, my call, it'll default to whatever your call sign is set up in Fldigi, and it's going to stop. So it's going to transmit, send Pong and your call sign, and then stop. And you're going to hit apply, and you're going to close that. So that is right there. You want to make sure you hit the add so it shows up down in here. Now, if you go ahead and make a change in this and change the text, for example, you always have to update, or you can create a new one, add a new one, or you can remove it. So again, this is in the handout. Once you have this all set up, we're ready to go ahead and test it. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit close. And let me see if I can get Steve, KE2KN, and we'll show you how it works. I have Steve, KE2KN. He's going to go ahead and ping me so you can see what it looks like on this end, and then I will ping him. And so Steve's going to go ahead and transmit now. And what should pop up here is going to be there's the RSID, and then the commands for me. It's my call sign and ping. So there's KW3, KW, ping. Okay, I'm transmitting. You can see power out. And I'm transmitting right in here. And now Steve knows if I wasn't around, I'd come back, I'd see this on my screen. But Steve now knows that that Fldigi is open and he can actually start to leave me messages. So now I'm going to reverse this here. I'm going to clear this. And what I'm going to do is do the message. And what the command is basically the call sign greater than ping, based on the setup I showed you just a short while ago. Go ahead and hit the transmit. And again, we're having to use Contestia 4125 because the bands are pretty bad tonight. So this is kind of a little bit painfully slow, but hey, something's better than nothing, and I'm glad that I'm able to get through. So message is going out. And Steve, did you get a full decode? So he got a full decode, so he should be transmitting back to me. And there's the word Pong from KE to KN. And now there you go. You can see it both. Steve checking to see if I'm on, and I can check to see if he's on. It's pretty simple. And again, all the instructions are in the handouts. So let's get back and wrap this up. Don't forget to ask for the handouts and email MJ and ask for the 7 Fldigi settings at kw3kw@mail.com, and it should get it to you pretty quickly. And again, just a shout out to all of you who continue to support the channel with the like, the subscribe, and the fine and outstanding comments of support as I battle my mental and physical issues here. So thank you so much. So this is MJ, call sign KW3KW with Ham Radio Made Simple. Until next time, I'm out.